Oh, that's still way too hot. That's still way too hot to drink, so that's gonna have to wait. Hey dudes, it's Star Crossing here. So it's been a while. I promise I'm still alive. I promise I am. It's kind of a long story, but I've kind of been very preoccupied with a lot of personal stuff in my life right now, so you know how it goes. So I've said before that I've recently in the last couple years gotten super duper into Dungeons and Dragons, and it's one of my favorite pastimes, one of my favorite hobbies to do these days. It's just so much fun, brings me so much joy, and lately it's kind of been coming in clutch because, you know, crazy stuff's been happening in my life lately, and Dungeons and Dragons has been a very good creative outlet for me, especially when I'm having really bad writer's block, which has been a lot lately. And it's really exciting because as of a couple months ago, I am now running my very own campaign as Dungeon Master, which this is my very first official, full-blown campaign as Dungeon Master, which is simultaneously a little scary, a little nerve-wracking, but also really fun, really hilarious, really just, I'm really enjoying it. It's a very good serotonin boost once every other week, so. And all of my players that have joined so far have either never played Dungeons and Dragons or they haven't played in a very long time. So as a brand new Dungeon Master, it's very reassuring, but also very exciting because we're all kind of learning this together. So it's really fun, honestly. And having played Dungeons and Dragons for quite a few years now, I have naturally accumulated a couple of very funny stories of some of the chaos that has ensued. So I thought I'd share a couple of those with you today. I'm all cozy today. I've got my cup of chamomile, and I've got my Sweetie Todd hoodie on, for those who are wondering. Yes, I'm very excited about that. I'm dressed for the occasion, okay? But yeah, here's a couple of anecdotes, aka highlights of my time playing Dungeons and Dragons. The first one being, I don't even know what to call it, the potato incident, I guess. So this was during the very first campaign I ever played, and this to date is like one of the funniest things that's ever happened to me during one of our sessions. Our party had just finished defeating this horde of undead that was invading the town, and we saved everybody, and the king wanted to reward us by giving us a place to stay, because we were very far from home, and we had a bunch of companions with us, and they were like, here, let's give you this little house for you to shack up in as like your temporary form of residence. Temporary. This was basically a rental, this is an Airbnb basically. And of course the first thing we do is we go to explore the house, naturally. We go into the cellar, and for whatever reason, there was this, just this ring in the floor, and it was like, huh, what is that? We go over to it, inspect it, find out it's magical, and we're like, ooh, we want to test it out. But we don't want to go into the ring ourselves because it might kill us. We don't know, you know. Assume everything in D&D is out to kill you except for when it's not. I don't know. So it was my wise idea to go and find some kind of inanimate object to put in it that wouldn't get killed by this, whatever spell this was. We go up to the kitchens, we found a potato, just randomly, picked it up, brought it down to the cellar, put it in the magic ring, and the Dungeon Master he asks something akin to, what setting are you putting it on? Or how high of a setting are you putting it on? And I'm over here just like, is this a magic microwave? What is this thing? And then he's like, do you want to do 50%, 75%, 100%? And of course, our party just goes, 100%, we're doing 100%. So we find out very quickly that this is an enlargement spell of some kind, and this potato just starts growing. And it keeps growing, and it keeps growing, and we're all just like, we don't know what to do. We're all like level 5, I'm a rogue, my friend's a cleric, the other one's a bard, and we're all just like, we are not magically equipped for this. How do we reverse this? I don't know. How do we stop this from growing? And it just keeps growing. Next thing we know, it is like pushing up against the walls, it is destroying the ceiling and the floors, and then it finally stops. But now we have basically destroyed the entire basement of this house that we were literally just given by a king. We destroyed our Airbnb immediately upon arrival. And that was the end of the session. It's not D&D if it's not absolute chaos, right? Okay, story number 2. This is a little bit of a quicker one. Same campaign, same character and everything. I had just leveled up. I had a new spell. I was a tiefling. So I developed a new spell called Darkness where I was able to cast and put an obscure cloud around myself for a certain range and basically made it to where nothing could see me in that space. We got ambushed by, I think it was a group of harpies if I remember right. It was some kind of magical flying creatures that were trying to ambush us because we had a dragon egg that they wanted back. I had this wise idea to cast darkness for whatever reason. Because why not? This is a ranged spell. This is in the middle of the day, and it's just an obscure cloud. I don't know why I thought it was a good idea. I don't know. It was just kind of like, I have this new spell, I want to just do it. Why not? So not only was that kind of dumb, but also just kind of impulsive, but I find out from the dungeon master, yeah, these things can see through that. So what you did was completely pointless. And I burned my one slot for the day doing it, so I was like, oops. So the DM had a very good opportunity to do some mockery of my character via the harpies. So that was fun. Okay, this last one I've actually talked about on our last episode of Star-Crossed Losers, which if you don't know what that is the podcast that Fury and I started a while back. So if you would like, feel free to go give that a listen. We have it on my YouTube channel here, but also on Spotify. Self-plug, why not? But this is the story of the very first time, and so far, thankfully, the only time that I have ever had a D&D character die. I want to say it was either like session 2 or 3 of a brand new campaign. I had just made this character, I had just started getting attached to her. Mind you, there was only 2 players in this campaign. Myself, which was a human bard character, and my friend who was a half-orc artificer. Our house got bombarded by scorpions. My character had only 11 hit points, and I was down to 1 from this battle. And this scorpion rolls a nat 20, which was a critical hit. Not only did they roll a nat 20, but they also rolled the highest amount that they could for damage, so that was doubled by the critical, and then they also dealt poison damage, which dealt, I want to say, 12, 13 points of damage. And at this point, having played D&D before, but also having watched enough Critical Role to kind of know a little bit more about the rules of hit points and everything, I knew what this meant. My dungeon master also did, of course, but my friend did not. So my friend is over here just like, oh my god, you're unconscious, and I'm just looking at the dungeon master like, nope. And so the DM and I very quickly explained that my character was not unconscious. My character was instantly dead. Good news was it was me and not her, because she was able to knock out the other 2 scorpions very quickly, and then proceeded to, upon getting rid of them, scooped my tiny little body up, carried me frantically to the temple that was just up the road, and had me revived. / resurrected, I guess? My character is successfully resurrected, she wakes up, and the first person she sees is this gorgeous elf priestess. And immediately she's enamored. And she's a mess. But she also has just woken up from death. But yes, those are just a few stories from my time playing / DMing for Dungeons & Dragons. It's been a great time. I love it so much, and I'm very excited to continue doing it for a very long time. That's all from me for now. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna finally drink my tea now that it's not gonna burn my tongue off. I will see you guys again very soon. Later, dudes! You know, one of the things I didn't expect when I moved to New York was to become a major tea drinker. It's kind of hard to explain, but I just, for some reason, always have like a plethora of so much tea at once, at all times. I don't know how to explain it.